anybody with administrative authority to make a difference to how people work, how teachers work. Especially this video is for you. Hello, this is Simerjeet Singh back again with the video series on helping improve education by sharing my ideas with different stakeholders of the entire ecosystem. We've covered videos for teachers and parents and students, and this one is for leaders of academic institutes. So if you're a principal, if you're a director, if you are an owner of a private educational institute, you're a vice chancellor or dean, or anybody with administrative authority to make a difference to how people work, how teachers work, especially this video is for you. Please do watch all the way to the end. Please do share it with the fellow members of your community, in the teaching community, and also please do share your comments and your feedback in the comment section below, what you feel about what I've said and what other inputs you might have. So let's get started. My inputs for leaders of academic institutes to help improve education. Number one is to lead, not manage. Right? I think this comes from Ross Perot, who said, people must be led and inventories can be managed. You see, attendance can be managed and inventories can be managed and equipment should be managed, but people need leadership, and leadership must be exercised, because otherwise then institutes and communities and organizations go in the autopilot mode, which is a very, very dangerous mode. Because let's check with you. For example, if you hear this announcement on your plane which says, ladies and gentlemen, this is your captain speaking, I'm working from home today and this flight will be on autopilot, and you will not want to fly that plane, then why would you want to leave your teams in the autopilot mode? So lead your people and manage your finances and manage your branding and other things, but people need leadership. So you have to be that hands-on leader who's inspiring, who's having that future vision for the organization, who's firing up the people, who is, I think it's your chief duty to ensure that the excitement and enthusiasm and positivity levels of your people are high. That's one of the important jobs of a leader, especially in an educational organization. Because let's face the truth. If a corporation who's selling goods and services does not do well for one quarter, and let's say they're sitting on an inventory, they can do better the next quarter and make up for the lost sales. But if your school is not doing well, if your college is not doing well for one quarter or one semester, that is time lost that you perhaps can never regain back. So that was number one. Lead, don't manage. Number two is salaries and monetary incentives, especially for private institutes. I understand in the government institutes, it's set by the government, but for private institutes, some of you do not pay the teachers well enough. Sometimes even the hairdressers in the same city are making more money than the teachers, and I think that's not a good scenario. You can and you should cut down on other expenses, maybe trim down your advertisements if you have to, because what's the most powerful form of advertisement? It's word of mouth publicity. If you are paying your teachers well and they are teaching well, word will go out, and word of mouth is the most powerful form of advertisement ever. You will have more admissions. You will not need to spend as much on branding and advertisement. So there are a number of ways you can cut down, but please don't compromise on paying your teachers, because they're the backbone of this entire ecosystem. If in the same city a hairdresser or a makeup artist is getting paid more than the teacher, I think that's a sad situation for any nation, any civilization to be in, right? So, and that also brings into point the next one, which is the dignity of the profession. So paying them adequately, well, at par with their skill level, maybe a little bit above, is important, but also to create an environment, a work culture which is not toxic, which preserves the dignity of their profession. These folks are teachers after all. Give them some liberty to have more creativity, more innovation in the classroom. Don't make it so rigid, so strict that they fail to innovate and the excitement dies out. That is going to be a very desperate situation for everybody. And so freedom for creativity in how they deliver their lectures, give them more flexibility there. You don't need robots, If you need robots, guess what? Fire the teachers and have AI, ChatGPT teach the kids. And but you don't need that. You need the human element in the classroom. So in order for the human element to shine in all its brilliance, you need to give them some freedom, some psychological safety, some room for innovation and creativity. And that brings me to my next very important point. There are core items in every profession and there are periphery items. I repeat, there's a core, there's a periphery. Don't let the periphery items compromise the core item. The core of a teacher's job is to educate, to nourish, to inspire, to uplift, to engage, to consult, to build, and to fire up the imagination of young people, not just with facts and figures, but activities and just by virtue of who they are. That's their core. There are periphery items that happen in an educational institute, and don't let the periphery overshadow the core. In other words, as an administrator, can you find ways of lessening the burden of these teachers from bureaucratic jobs, which can be delegated to somebody else so that they can focus more on teaching? In other words, as a leader, can you facilitate a work environment, a workflow and work processes where teachers can focus more on the time they spend with the students, and everything else can be automated using technology, or they can be assisted or whatever. I'm sure there's 100 innovative ideas that can be used. But the less we burden our teachers with bureaucratic administrative jobs, the more these teachers will have the time, energy, resources, and creativity to spend in the classroom with your students. And that's what matters the most in the end, right? So I think with that, I'll close this video. But one very last important point: in an era of continuous change, you have to ensure that your teachers are enrolled in continuous learning and development programs. So they can't just, okay, they've graduated from one college and for 20 years they're teaching. And when are they learning? And when are they learning? Because they need to learn, they need to relearn, they need to attend workshops, they need to be nominated for programs where they leave the school for a few days, they go out and, and immerse themselves in a learning environment, be a student again. Let your teachers be a student again so they can experience what it's like sitting on the other side, so they can upgrade their skills and their mindset, and they can know what's happening around the world, so they can come back refreshed to your educational institute to give the best they can to your students. So it's important that you send your teachers on faculty development programs, learning programs, or invite outside experts to give talks, motivational talks, life counseling, whatever it is, to your teachers, so that there's an atmosphere of continuous learning in the school. By doing these few simple practical things I've shared with you, your school will become a magnet to attract talent. And once the best people want to be in your school, you'll have great word of mouth publicity, a lot of branding. You will certainly see the dynamics will change. So I hope this made sense. I hope this had some practical advice that you can follow. I'd love to hear your comments, not just from principals and directors and leaders of institutes, but also from other communities, other stakeholders of education as well, in the comment section below. And in the next video, which will be the final one in the series, I will share my inputs for policymakers, of what policies they can use in order to help our great nation flourish. And although these videos are created with keeping India in mind, they're India-centric, but I'm sure if you're watching from another part of the world, you will find a lot of common threads. Thanks for tuning in.